Hello everyone and welcome to the final round of Tier 2. We are here in Jeddah for the final round. Of course, only 7 drivers with us tonight, but both title challengers, fortunately. Pintita and JRR, of course. JRR leading the way with 136 points, 21 points ahead of Pintita. Pintita needs to win this race today and hope JRR does not finish above P8, which obviously is impossible because of 7 drivers. So that means that JRR has to DNF, Pintita has to win. Pintita, crazily, is the only driver still in this championship who is yet to win a race, as 2 Magnus has gone straight off and into the barriers. So that's the end of what will be his first lap. Behind him, Alpha is another driver currently on a lap, or about to start a lap, and we'll see what he can do. So Alpha, he's won in Mexico and Britain and got on the podium other 2 races. His worst finish has been P4, so he seems to be a very quick driver, and we could see him next season. We have Back 2, who's won 1 race this season, and then the other person is J Crow, who we've only seen for 1 race this season before. Well, never seen him again. But hopefully we've got something special on our hands tonight. A slight downfall in the league since the halfway point, but we're hoping that it stops. We'll see what happens. So behind JRR, or behind Alpha, is JRR. Well, obviously behind him is 2 Magnus, but I'm guessing he's going to come back into the pits. Behind him is Pintita, then comes Me and God, then Ozone, and SA has only left the pits now. So we're right on board with Alpha, who's going to set us up for the first lap of qualifying. Obviously we'll leave off him if he, as you can see there, 2 Magnus into the pits. So we'll keep an eye on him. We'll see if he invalidates, we'll switch to his teammate. But at the moment, through 1 and 2, it seems to be fairly clean. And now heading up towards 3, everything seems to be going wide. A little bit of oversteer you could see coming out. It's just losing the rear end, but so far, so good for Alpha. Runs again just a little bit wide, doesn't get as close to the wall as you might have to be, and he's going to lose time because of that. And his first sector is 33.7, so that is definitely going to be beaten. And we'll see now as he heads around the banking now and up towards the really only tough corner of sector 2, which is this one. You have to get well on the brakes heading in towards it. And now we're onto our second DRS straight of the lap. Probably not really much of an overtaking zone, just one to keep that extra speed going as we head now into the hotel section underneath it. It's a lovely, lovely building that is. As Pintita has retired, so he's going to give himself an awful job. He's going to have to try and win this race in the back, and JRR may just have this championship won before the race even starts. Obviously it's only going to be a 12 lap race, which means that it's going to be hard, but Alpha is going to head to the line now, and a 130.5 is the benchmark. JRR is going to be one who will try and stop it. His teammate, championship on the line. All he needs to do is finish the race and he is champion. And he comes to the line and goes almost a second quicker. That is definitely something. Me and God up next. Me and God just goes a little bit slower. Ozone is next to cross the line. Ozone goes ahead of Me and God, and then finally we wait for S8. S8 goes slowest of all. So next person on the lap is 2 Magnus, only starting his lap now. To Magnus now, heading through Sector 2 into the final part of the lap. The Aston Martin driver. He fancies himself for pole position tonight. So far his lap has been quite clean enough. No, 128.8 is going to be a tough one to beat. It'll be a tough one to beat for any Tier 1 driver. And 2 Magnus is going to come to the line now. And he's going to go P5, so maybe he's not fancy himself an awful lot. Alpha, I don't know if he's going again, or maybe he tried to improve there. But whatever happened there didn't quite work. To Magnus has a spin at the start of the S's. And he's going to have to just correct himself on that. I do have to say now, the scenery of this track is absolutely amazing. So Alpha's 6/10 down, so that's going to be a little bit of a null period at the moment. And we'll just keep an eye on the pit lane. Somebody's moving, I think. Yep, it is an AlphaTauri, Me and God, coming out of the pits here. So he'll be the next person to keep an eye on. He'll be the next person to start a lap. Another person out of the pits, Ozone Yo, coming out for his second run. As back 2 has now joined the session, so he'll be joining us for our race, which means JRR has to finish at least in P7, so not last. So back 2 should join us, hop in his Williams car, and we'll see what he can do. Alpha SLK into the pit lane, and 2 Magnus more than likely will follow him in. Yes, he does. So it's Me and God. Who is going to be the next person to start a lap. He scrapes the wall there going through. Along this long straight. Now down to the final corner. Here he goes. So, Me and God, his teammate SLR Quattro, finished second here last night, or I think it was third. And, well, he's going to hope that he can do his AlphaTauri teammates proud tonight and maybe bring home at least a good result been an up and down season for him. He's been attending some races and then he's unavailable the others. But we'll see what he can do now as we head towards the end of the first sector and the end towards season 4. AlphaTauri could be the All Drivers Constructors champion tonight if things go well, and things don't go well for Alpine. They're the only real competitors at the moment. Actually, possibly Haas as well. I think have had a pretty decent time in the constructors, but we'll watch now with me and God. Eight tenths up, so it should be enough to possibly put him up in the P3 and closer to P2 as the session goes on. Behind him, Ozone is on a lap. He has 2 Magnus in front of him. Me and God now is going to head towards the line. Has he improved by enough? He's improved enough to go P3. Ozone, 10 seconds down. I don't think that's going to be enough for him to do anything. So the next person to start a lap, we have back 2. Crosses the line and is starting his first lap. Hopefully it won't end like Pentita's. And if it doesn't end like Pentita's, then Pentita is starting dead last. So as we head now down towards turn 3, the Williams driver, who has won a race but has got quite unlucky in other races. He's hoping that this might just be a little bit better than his luck before. So 33-1 in the first sector for the Williams driver as he heads now round the banking and on towards the tricky 1-2 chicane here. And then the long DRS straight. He seems to be taking things very nicely. It's a very good POV here of the Williams driver, as now he's going to enable DRS. He's going to cruise down the straight at upwards of 330 kilometers an hour before braking now into the hotel section, the little chicane, and then onto probably one of the best overtaking opportunities on the track. But obviously you're not going to be overtaking anyone in qualifying. It's just going to be about how your setup is and how quick you are going to fly down to turn 27, the final corner of this race. Head around the Aramco signage and he's going to open DRS now, head to the line, back 2, goes P2 with a 129.6. to Magnus. Maybe does fancy himself a little bit more because he's 6 tenths up at the moment and could put himself up into the top 4 or possibly even the top 3 if he improves. We'll see now. 2 Magnus to the line. It's going to be enough for P5. So he's jumped Ozone and still has a little bit more to improve if he wants, as he cuts the corner there, if he wants to have a go for the front row. So Ozone is next to go through Sector 1 here to try and improve on his lap that he set earlier on in the session. Didn't quite get to set a second one, so this is probably going to be his final run here, as things seem to be going alright. We're right on board with him now towards the end, and he invalidates, so he's going to have to abandon this one. He was 6/10 up as well. It would look to be going quite well for him. He's going to have to abandon it though and just recharge for another run after it if he has enough fuel. R8 is also coming out of pits next. He's going to now start his final flying lap once he comes to the end, and I'm sure there's going to be other movement in the pit lane. Alpha was first, JRR is second, in front of them is back 2. The only other person after that is me and God and 2 Magnus. Whether or not they'll come out or not, we'll see. It looks to be movement for 2 Magnus. He's out, and then we'll just keep an eye on the pit lane here just to see if there is going to be any last movements for me and God. If he has a fresh set that he wants to try, is there anything that he might go out? We'll see now, but we'll focus again on Ozone, because Ozone is starting again his final flying lap here. Ozone, or me and God, has not left the pit lane in time. He will not set another flying lap. 2 Magnus is probably going to have to hurry on with himself, or he won't set one either. But Ozone is going to be the first to cross the line with the checkered flag in sight. He was set the first of the last laps here in Jeddah this evening for the finale, the final qualifying session of season 4. And 4/10 up Ozone is, not as much as his first run, but I'm sure the invalidation probably helped out on that. He's kept it valid, which means that he can keep going now. He can press as hard as he can to the line, and he's going to hope that he can gain enough, as there seems to be a bit of a battle going on from Alpha all the way back to Ozone. Those drivers seem to be very well compact, as Alpha, JRR and me and back 2 are taking their time there trying to get to the line. But Ozone now coming to the end of sector 2, and he is still only 4/10 up, so he's going to have to do a little bit more, but takes that corner really, really well, and is now, it's just put your foot down, son, to the line now. How fast can you go? How well is the setup suited for this track? As he comes down to turn 27 now, through the final corner, Ozone, it's his final lap of the session. Where will he put the car? He goes just above 2 Magnus. He improves, but not by enough. So now R8 has to improve by a lot more. He won't improve at all, because he's smacking off every wall there is on this track, and he will finish or start last. Alpha SLK next. We haven't seen his sector 1, as 2 Magnus has spun at the start of the first sector, and he is out of this race, or of this qualifying. So P6 is where he's going to stay after Ozone improved. Alpha SLK is 1.1 seconds up, a possibility here of going ahead of back 2. If he gains even more, maybe even a possibility of pole. JRR seems so strong around here, but is he strong enough? Because Alpha SLK is flying it, and as he heads through the final corner now, will he be able to get pole? It's Alpine have been battling for the last bit of the season here. Will it be Alpha? Will it be JRR? It's gonna be JRR, unless back 2 could possibly say a word about that. JRR improves to a 128.6, and back 2 won't be able to. Only enough for P3. It's an Alpine 1-2 yet again. Me and God didn't come out. He was confident in P4. He got P4. Ozone couldn't improve to get P4, but a P5 is very solid for the Red Bull driver. Magnus DNF'd, and R8, the final driver to set a lap, he could only manage 7th, and Pintita starts last. So here we go. We have 12 laps of Jeddah awaiting us, and a formation lap to begin with. Tyres, JRR, back 2 and 2 Magnus starting the mediums. Everyone else is going to start on softs and then head on to mediums for the finale here. We should have a good race ahead of us. And 8 drivers, to be fair. I shouldn't be complaining by much. There's been much worse in this league. And if everyone does want to finish and have those celebrations at the end, then it could be even better. But we'll see now, because JRR heading through now the windy Sector 1 and into Sector 2 now finally. We will get started as soon as the grid is lined up. So here we go now as JRR slows down and Alpha is a good bit further behind as the cars now head through the final corner. Pentita going to wait as long as he possibly can. The only man left in the championship battle, and he has an awful lot to do. But it's JRR lining up on pole position here. And we will see what he has for us today. Back 2 for a little spin for our start of this race. Alpha SLK is disqualified. Back 2 trying his best. So here we go now to 5 red lights here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. It seems to be a good getaway from everyone. Everyone seems to get away quite nicely indeed as we head through turn 1. It looks like JRR has been pushed a little bit wide. Back 2 takes the lead. S8 slams into the side of, I think that's the Alpha Tauri there, as they go 2 at rest at times here, as Alpha does manage to stay ahead, but Ozone's jumped him. Alpha has flown off and he is spun out and is down to P8. It's put JRR back up into the podium places, and it's not looking good for the Alpine driver who was on for so much this season, and now he has a long way to go as JRR is putting the pressure now on Ozone as they go almost side by side here. JRR couldn't get more closer to the Red Bull, trying to force a mistake as back 2 is gaining further and further ahead, possibly a second race win for the Williams driver, but JRR is much too quick here possibly for Ozone. I don't know how he is a tier 3 driver. He's nicking into the back of him, trying to get by as quick as possible, unfortunately unable to do so, as you see he's still going to put some pressure on now as they're going to head on the run now down towards the final corner. JRR alongside ahead and now has to chase down back two, who got the dream start. And well, we'll see how much of a dream race he has. He starts lap 2, he has led and sets the fastest lap of the race. Pentita got by me and God, he's got by a few there. Seems to be showing some good pace here. He's on the podium last time he raced in Jeddah. He will probably want to be somewhere among these guys in the front of the field if he wants to have a chance of maybe winning his first race today. So we watch the drivers go through. JRR is gaining. Ozone doing quite a good job himself in staying, but I'm sure there'll be a few time penalties along the way. I'm sure that's his first warning already. Alpha SLK already has caught up right to the back of 2 Magnus and S8. They all seem to be going quite wide here. I'm sure there'll be plenty of penalties to look at over the course of this race. But S8 seems to be really struggling around here. He was hitting every wall in qualifying. He probably will be hitting every wall here today as well. As he hits one right there and slams into the back of 2 Magnus. 2 Magnus spins him round, and to be honest, I don't even see any fault for 2 Magnus there. S8 just does not know how to drive this track, but Alpha has got the better of it and has picked up 2 places and now has to chase down. Me and God will keep an eye on that battle. At the moment, it's JRR chasing down the race leader, and Ozone staying quite close to him, possibly a chance for the Red Bull's first win. Ozone seems to be carrying some good pace here. JRR is probably carrying the best, because he's the one catching. Ozone, again, I have to say, is not too far behind. S8 is into the pit lane already. Guessing that's for it is for a retirement, so he's not going to race any bit longer. As 2 Ozone, oh, he was doing so well, but he's crashed out here. He's hit the wall, and a virtual safety car is out. A safety car is out. Oh, he was doing so well, and his hopes and dreams have crashed out here of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. There'll be no podium for Ozone. He seemed to have such good pace, but just loses the rear end. Slams into the wall, and the first safety car is out here on lap 3, and more than likely a chance for everyone on track now to box, because more than likely, if you're even on softs, you will go to the end of the race if you box now. But the interesting thing, will Alpine have enough of a gap to double stack? So back 2 is in. JRR is obviously going to be in. The soft runners are 100% going to come into the pits, and Alpha, I think, is just trying to wait his time here so he doesn't get jumped by the 2 drivers behind. So JRR is out, and Alpha, is he going to be in and not delayed? It seems to be an alright stop from him. He is held up a bit by Pentita, and 2 Magnus, he had to replace a front wing anyway, so he won't jump him, and Pentita has to do the same. A lot of people placing some front wings here, but JRR has decided to go into the hards. He thinks the hards will have to go to the end of this race, so that's an interesting decision. We'll see whether or not back 2's softs will go to the end of the race. Remember, the race does end on lap 12, and at the moment, unless JRR retires within the next 5 laps, he is champion. Just remember that. So the pressure's on him. lap. Back 2. Obviously on a soft tyre, should be a little bit quicker than JRR. He wasn't that far behind him off pace, and it should leave JRR maybe a little bit vulnerable to the guys on the mediums. So 2 Magnus started on the mediums, went onto hard, and has come back onto the mediums now. Obviously he's caught up to the safety car field, and now he has possibly a little bit of a job himself to do, but it's JRR who's under pressure. And as he goes ghosted a little bit there, just a little bit of worries as back 2 heads underway, and we are underway here for the restart. Back 2 seems to get a little bit further away. Everything seems to be going quite cleanly. Nobody really getting the better of anyone at the moment, but 2 Magnus maybe getting the better of Pintita. He shies out of that one, but Pintita goes a little bit wide. 2 Magnus fancies this, and he's going to sneak around the outside, down the inside into the next turn. 2 Magnus up into P5. Lovely overtake there from the Aston Martin driver as we watch them now go through the S section here. Back 2 seems to have all the grip at the moment. As we're watching them here, seems to be all okay. 2 Magnus had actually wing damage while doing that. And Pintita, does he have wing damage himself? Maybe they picked up under the safety car. I don't think he does. He just seems to be struggling on pace. And at the moment, it's looking like it's going to be JRR world champion. We'll see. We watch them now go through and on to the next DRS straight of this safety car restart. Everything seems to be going according to plan. JR closing in. On back 2 just a little bit, we see Alpha getting nice and close to Me and God, and possibly may get a move done here at the end of the straight. Me and God has lost the slipstream back. Alpha will have it, and before DRS is even enabled, it's an Alpine 2-3 on the podium here as Alpha picks up P3. We have just over 6 laps, or just under 6 laps left of racing here. Remember, lap 12 is where it finishes. And it's looking here like Me and God could be in trouble because he's picked up a 3 seconds. As somebody spun, it's Pintita. He's gone round here on the exit of the final sector 1 turn. And that is the end of, surely is the end of his championship hopes. They were slipping away, and they've slipped away here as there's yellow flags as well, as Me and God has spun as well. So that is him. Oh, and he's gone into the barriers as well. So Pintita won't be finishing last anyway. Me and God might be. He spun, and more than likely has spun out of the race. It's looking like back 2 could pick up his first win, or his second win this season, his first win on track. He has had some pace so far today, and as there's more yellow flags for Me and God spinning, it really could be his day. 5 laps to go. The Williams driver leads the way. And Alpha SLK is catching in on the current champion. Now, obviously, if JRR retires, then it's anyone's game. I hope he doesn't. We would like to see some celebrations from the Alpine driver. It's Me and God has a little bit of a slide again, and Alpha has lost the car and has dropped back out of the podium once again. Could be anyone's podium today, and it's not going to be Alpha SLK. He has spun yet again. Everyone's struggling around the streets of Saudi Arabia tonight. So it's JRR versus back 2, as it has been for a while, and back 2, his tyres may start to wear a little bit now, and JRR could finish his championship with a championship win, as now he starts to close down on the Williams driver. Here he goes now, towards the final corner. He's going to go down the inside, and I don't know, did back two maybe let that happen? We'll see now. They head through, and back two will have a lot more ERS. He's going to have DRS. He's going to gain. He's going to re-overtake, and just like Verstappen and Leclerc, back two keeps the lead here. It's going to be a real tactical game now to see who's going to come out on top today. Will it be pace? Will it be strategy? We don't really know. 4 laps to go of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. JRR is closing in. The real battle on track has to be the battle for the lead. It always should be. And it's looking like it's going to be either back two, who was potentially a championship protagonist, but turned out to be just a protagonist in this league. He has had so much unfortunate moments, along with being taken out being one of them, but he's hoping to redeem himself tonight after the horrors of last week, to possibly in 4 laps time, 3 laps once he completes this one, to be a 2-time RSL race winner, that being only in tier 2. JRR closing in again, gets by again, and back 2 may try the same thing again. We'll see. He gets a good exit here. JRR doesn't quite, and back 2 is gaining with DRS again. He's gonna get back ahead of JRR, and now 3 laps to go. Back 2 leads the way again. This is some incredible racing here. My first time back commentating these guys since Mexico, and although I lost a lot of interest in Mexico, I'm not losing any interest here tonight. It's been some race so far. You can see the field kind of evened itself out. Oh, but they've gone wide there, and he's forced JRR to the inside. They're going so close to each other. Back to it, every right to battle it. He stays ahead. The softs are starting to wear. He knows he's under pressure. JRR is pumping the battery as well. They both fancy possibly a win here today. But will it be the Alpine of JRR? Will it be the Williams of back 2 as another DRS straight is approaching now, and another overtaking opportunity for JRR? We're going to ride on board with him now as he heads towards the hotel section, the chicane, the real fancy modern building as I like to call it. We head through. He's not close enough, but this is the place where the move normally has been made, and it probably will be made again here for JRR, who's going to try go down the inside. No, he's waiting. Back 2 is also waiting. This could be like Hamilton Verstappen here. JRR has waited here and is going to try and get by back 2 now on the main straight. We'll see. He's burning the ERS. So is back 2, but back 2 doesn't have DRS. So that means I think JRR isn't going to get in front. Back 2, this is incredible defending from yourself. Doing some job here as we enter the second last lap of this race. The pressure is on now for both of these drivers. Who will come out on top? JRR putting the pressure on. Back 2 sliding all around the place with those softs. Riding on board with JRR. It's not a pretty sight, because at any moment that Williams could go and both of them could be out of the race. We don't know. JRR is gaining now. He's going to send it down the inside into the banking. They go side by side. This is incredible racing here as JRR gets in front. And this time in front in a section that isn't right before another DRS straight. Although it could be. There's another straight coming up, but back 2 goes a little bit too wide out of that corner and has picked up a penalty. And that is surely that. But you can see he's gaining here. Back 2 goes back in front. Oh, they've made contact. They've made contact. JRR's hitting to the back of him. And back 2 gets back ahead. Can he get 3 seconds ahead though? That is the question. I don't think he can. So JRR here now is going to see. He is within 5/10, and on the last lap now, who will win? Back 2 in front, JRR behind, but JRR is within 3 seconds of back 2. It's all over. He is a champion no matter what happens. Even if he crashes on this final lap, he is a champion, and more than likely he's going to be a champion as a race winner. As we watch him now just sit on the back of back 2. He has a lot more ERS, and you'll probably get by him on the straight towards the end, and we'll see whether the Alpine driver wins on track on his final race in Tier 2, and obviously becomes the 3rd ever RSL Tier 3 champion. He's going to open DRS. He's going to get it done before DRS is even enabled here, as he gets into the chicane in front. JRR, it's been quite an amazing season from him in both Tier 1 and Tier 2. He's picked up plenty of podiums. He's picked up plenty of wins here. And as he heads around the final corner here in Saudi Arabia for, I think, the 4th time this season, he will stand on the top step. JRR, you are the Tier 2 World Champion! What a race. What a win. Back 2, take a bow yourself. What a race from yourself to pick up almighty P2, which could have been P1. It was unfortunate. 2 magnets on the podium for his 2nd time this season. Pentita finishes P4 and becomes the only title contender to never win a race. A record you might not want to be proud of, but I'm sure he was happy to be there at the end of the day. Alpha, unlucky with the spin, but at the end of the day, he finishes in P5, and then finally it's me and God, who takes a bit too long. JRR has kind of missed his spot there to do the donuts. He'll probably head to somewhere else, I'm guessing. Back 2 wants to do this with no wing, it looks like. JRR is going to take his time now. Oh, why is he heading backwards? You're going to get disqualified. Yep. Alright, well, I guess there's going to be no donuts for JRR. Maybe I'll just take some of Alpha, and that can be that. So you see now, no one has really started to do donuts yet. I think back 2 is doing a few here. Pentita's another one who's been disqualified for going the wrong way. I don't think these guys realise you can't drive the wrong way just because you're on a cool down lap. 2 Magnus is just going to fly through. I don't think he got the memo. He's not going to be doing any donuts at all. He is. He's going to slow down. We're going to see some Aston Martin donuts here instead. Alpha SLK, he's going to come towards the line now and do a few probably donuts on the line, but it's been an incredible race, an incredible season. JRR, you are the champion. So this has been RSL. Just waiting for these to finish so I can just get through the results screen. Oh my god, I'm sorry, can you just please just get to the line and finish? He wants his moment in the spotlight. I'm gonna give him it. So me and God. Crosses the line. And that is that. So we'll pretend that's JRR on the podium. It actually is the same podium that finished the race. So, JRR, your Tier 1 winner, fastest lap and the win. He will be in Tier 1 next season, and there's no doubt about that. P2 goes to back 2 from P3 in the grid. He was leading for most of the race, but a wrong call onto the wrong tyres didn't quite get him the way he would have liked to. 2 Magnus finishes P3. A very good job from him indeed. P4 finished was, I'm pretty sure, Ozone. Had a very good lap. Or no, not Ozone, sorry, Pentita. Had a very... didn't obviously set a lap in qualifying, but was racing well in the race. Kind of dropped off with his spin, unfortunately, but P2 in the championship, you can't complain much. P5 goes to Alpha SLK. Again, possibly a podium was on, but a spin didn't help with that. Finally, me and God finished in 5th, the final finisher. I don't think I missed anyone, did I? More than likely I didn't. Yep, that was everyone. Me and God finished in 6th, sorry, not 5th. Alpha finished in 6th. That's been Season 4. We'll see you on the 1st of March, the official date of the start of Tier 3 in Season 5. It should be a great season next. A whole new grid, but we'll see. I've been Gaffo. This has been RSL. Good night.